Welcome to the 24/7 English Podcast. My name is Connor, and I am so happy you are here. This is a place for English learners to improve their speaking skills. The title of this podcast is English Phrases in Nonstop Conversation. In this podcast, we will talk about simple English phrases. You will learn to use them in conversation. The goal is to help you speak English easily and naturally. English is a beautiful language, but it can be difficult. Many learners struggle with speaking. You may feel nervous or unsure about how to use phrases in real life. That is okay. This podcast will help you. We will take it slow. You will practice the phrases until you can use them confidently. Don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Keep listening. You will get better over time. In this first section, we will talk about common phrases used every day. These phrases are important because they can help you in many situations. You will hear these phrases at work, school, and in casual conversations with friends. It is important to practice these phrases often. The more you use them, the more comfortable you will become. Let's start with a simple question. How are you? This is a common greeting. People say it when they meet someone. It is polite and friendly. When someone asks, you can answer in different ways. I'm good. I'm fine, or I'm okay, are all correct answers. These answers are short and easy to remember. You can use them in many situations. For example, if a friend asks, "How are you?" you can say, "I'm good." Another common phrase is, "What's up?" This is also a way to ask how someone is doing. It is more casual than, "How are you?" People say it to friends or people they know well. It is informal. You can answer by saying, "Not much, just relaxing," or "Nothing special." These answers are short, and you don't have to say a lot. They are easy to remember and use in conversation. Next, let's talk about thank you. This phrase is very important. You should use it whenever someone does something kind for you. For example, if someone holds the door for you, you should say, "Thank you." It is polite and shows that you appreciate their help. You can also say, "Thanks," instead of "thank you." It's just a shorter way of saying the same thing. If someone helps you and you want to say thank you more strongly, you can say, "Thank you so much," or "Thanks a lot." These are ways to show extra gratitude. For example, if a friend buys you lunch, you can say, "Thank you so much for lunch." This makes your thank you sound warmer. Another phrase you will use a lot is, "Excuse me." You use this when you want to get someone's attention. You also use it if you need to apologize for something small. For example, if you accidentally bump into someone, you can say, "Excuse me," to apologize. It is polite and shows that you care about the other person. You can also use "excuse me" if you want to ask someone for help. For example, if you need directions, you can say, "Excuse me, can you help me?" Now, let's talk about asking for help. One of the best phrases to use when you need help is, "Can you help me?" It is simple and clear. You can use it in many situations. For example, if you need help carrying something, you can say, "Can you help me with this?" You can also say, "Could you help me?" which is just a slightly more polite way of asking. Another way to ask for help is by saying, "I need help." This is a direct way to ask. For example, if you are lost and don't know where to go, you can say, "I need help." Can you tell me where the bus stop is? This shows that you are asking for someone's help in a clear way. It's simple and easy to understand. The last phrase we will talk about today is I don't understand. This is very important when learning English. It's okay if you don't understand something. Just say, I don't understand. It's a simple and honest way to tell someone that you need more explanation. If someone says something you don't understand, don't be afraid to ask them to repeat it. You can say, I don't understand. Can you say that again? When you use these phrases, it's important to remember that practice makes perfect. The more you use these phrases, the better you will get at speaking English. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. Just keep practicing and you will improve over time. One common phrase you will use often is, I'm sorry. You say this when you want to apologize. For example, if you step on someone's foot by accident, you can say, I'm sorry. This shows that you care about the other person's feelings. Another way to apologize is by saying, sorry. It is a little shorter, but it means the same thing. If you want to apologize more strongly, you can say, I'm really sorry. This is a way to show that you feel bad about what happened. For example, if you break something, you can say, I'm really sorry about that. It's important to sound sincere when you say it. Sometimes you might need to say sorry for something that's not your fault. In this case, you can say, sorry to hear that. For example, if a friend tells you they are sick, you can say, oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. This shows that you care and are sympathetic. Another useful phrase is, how much is this? This is important when you are shopping. If you want to know the price of something, you can ask, how much is this? It is a simple and polite way to ask about the price. For example, if you see a shirt you like, you can ask, how much is this shirt? If you want to know if something is on sale, you can ask, is this on sale? Or, is this a discount? This is important when you want to find out if the price has been reduced. Stores often put some items on sale, and it's good to know when you can get a good deal. It's a short question, but it can save you money. If you need to ask for directions, there are a few key phrases to know. One of them is, where is? For example, you can ask, where is the nearest subway station? Or, where is the bus stop? This is an easy and common way to ask for directions. Another useful question is, how do I get to? You can use this when you want to know how to reach a place. For example, how do I get to the airport? Or, how do I get to the post office? This will help you understand the directions better. People can explain the way, and you will know how to get there. If you're in a conversation with someone, and they say something that you don't fully understand, you can use, what do you mean? This phrase will help you ask for more information. For example, if someone uses a word you don't know, you can say, what do you mean by that? It's an easy way to ask for clarification. Sometimes you might want to express your opinion. A simple phrase you can use is, I think. For example, you can say, I think this movie is great, or I think the weather is nice today. This is a way to share your thoughts with others. It is a simple and clear way to express yourself in conversation. If you want to ask someone about their opinion, you can say, what do you think? For example, what do you think of this restaurant? Or, what do you think about the news? This is a great way to start a discussion and learn what others think. Let's talk about making plans. When you want to make plans with a friend, you can say, let's, for example, you can say, let's go to the park, or let's have lunch together. This is a simple way to suggest something and invite someone to join you. If you want to ask about someone's plans, you can say, what are you doing this weekend? Or, do you have any plans for tonight? These are easy ways to ask what someone is doing. If they're free, you can suggest doing something together. Another common phrase is, I'm not sure. You can use this when you don't know the answer to a question. For example, if someone asks you, what time does the movie start? And you don't know, you can say, I'm not sure. It's a way of saying that you don't have the information right now. If you want to express doubt about something, you can say, I don't think so. For example, if someone asks, are you going to the party tonight? And you're not sure, you can say, I don't think so. This shows that you are uncertain. Let's talk about giving advice. When you want to suggest something to someone, you can say, you should. For example, you can say, you should try this restaurant, or you should study harder for the test. This is a way to give advice in a friendly way. Another way to give advice is by saying, it's a good idea to, for example, it's a good idea to bring an umbrella, or it's a good idea to wake up early. This is a polite way to suggest something. Lastly, let's talk about responding to invitations. If someone invites you to do something and you want to say yes, you can say, sure, I'd love to. For example, if a friend invites you to go for a walk, you can say, sure, I'd love to. It's a nice way to accept an invitation. If you cannot go but want to be polite, you can say, I'm sorry, I can't. For example, I'm sorry, I can't go to the party tonight. This shows that you appreciate the invitation but are unable to accept. One of the most common phrases in English is, can you repeat that? You use this phrase when you didn't hear or understand something. For example, if someone says something too fast, you can say, can you repeat that? It's a polite way to ask the other person to say it again. If you want to ask someone to speak more slowly, you can say, can you speak more slowly? This will help you understand better, especially when you are learning a new language. It's okay to ask for help if you don't understand something. Another helpful phrase is, what's the matter? This phrase is used when you want to ask someone if something is wrong. For example, if your friend looks upset, you can ask, what's the matter? It shows that you care and want to know if everything is okay. If someone asks you, what's the matter, and you are not feeling well, you can respond with, I don't feel well, or I'm sick. This is an easy way to let someone know that you are not feeling great. You can also say, I feel tired, or I have a headache, if those are your symptoms. Let's talk about offering help. If you see someone who needs assistance, you can offer by saying, can I help you? For example, if someone is carrying heavy bags, you can say, can I help you with that? It's a polite way to offer your assistance. If you want to offer help in a different way, you can say, let me know if you need anything. This is a nice phrase to use when you want to let someone know you are available to help. For example, if a friend is moving into a new apartment, you can say, let me know if you need anything. Another important phrase is, I'm looking forward to. This is a way to express excitement about something in the future. For example, I'm looking forward to the weekend, or I'm looking forward to meeting you. It's a positive and happy way to talk about things you're excited about. If you want to ask about someone's plans or feelings, you can use, "Are you looking forward to," for example, "Are you looking forward to the holiday?" Or, "Are you looking forward to the concert?" This shows interest in the other person's plans. Now, let's talk about making requests. If you want someone to do something, you can say, "Can you please?" For example, "Can you please pass me the salt?" Or, "Can you please close the door?" This is a polite way to ask someone to do something for you. If you want to make the request even more polite, you can say, "Could you please?" For example, "Could you please help me with this?" Or, "Could you please show me the way?" This is a slightly more formal way to ask, but it's still very common in everyday conversations. When you want to say that something is easy or simple, you can use the phrase, "It's a piece of cake." This is a fun way to say that something is very easy to do. For example, if someone asks if a task is difficult, you can say, "No, it's a piece of cake." It's a great phrase to use in casual conversations. Another fun phrase is, "I'm in a hurry." You use this when you need to go somewhere quickly. For example, if you are running late for work, you can say, "I'm in a hurry, so I can't stop and talk right now." It's a good way to explain that you need to leave quickly. If you want to explain that you don't have enough time, you can say, "I don't have time." For example, if a friend invites you to do something and you're busy, you can say, "I don't have time today, maybe later." It's a clear way to tell someone that you can't do something right now. If you need more time to think, you can say, "Let me think about it." This is a good phrase to use when you're not sure about something. For example, if someone asks if you want to join a trip, you can say, "Let me think about it." It gives you time to make a decision. Another way to buy time when you need to think is by saying, "Give me a moment." For example, "Give me a moment to check my schedule." This is a polite way to ask for a little time before you give an answer. If you want to agree with someone, you can use the phrase, "I agree." For example, if a friend says, "This movie is great," you can say, "I agree." It's a simple way to show that you share the same opinion. If you don't agree with someone, you can say, "I don't agree." For example, if someone says, "I think it's going to rain," and you don't think so, you can say, "I don't agree." It's a polite way to express a different opinion. Let's move on to the phrase, "It doesn't matter." You can use this when something is not important to you. For example, if someone apologizes for being late, you can say, "It doesn't matter, I wasn't waiting long." It's a way to show that you're not upset about something. If you want to tell someone that something is important, you can say, "It's important to me." For example, "It's important to me that we finish this project on time." This shows that you care about something. Finally, when you want to express that something is very easy to do, you can use, "It's no big deal." For example, if someone thanks you for helping them, you can say, "It's no big deal, I'm happy to help." This phrase shows that you're not making a big fuss about helping. One of the most common phrases you will use is, "What time is it?" This is an essential question to know. If you need to know the time, simply ask, "What time is it?" It's a simple and direct way to get the information you need. You can use it when you are with friends, or even when you don't have a watch or phone nearby. If you want to ask the time in a more polite way, you can say, "Excuse me, what time is it?" This sounds a little more formal and polite, especially if you are asking someone you don't know well. Another useful phrase is, "Can I ask you a question?" This is a polite way to ask for permission to ask something. If you are talking to someone and you want to ask them for advice or information, you can use this phrase. For example, "Can I ask you a question about the new movie?" It's a great way to make sure the other person is ready to talk. When someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer, you can say, "I don't know." It's simple and honest. For example, if someone asks, "Do you know where the nearest bank is?" and you don't know, you can say, "I don't know." Don't worry, it's okay to say this. You can always ask someone else or look it up later. If you need more information about something, you can say, "Can you tell me more?" This is a polite way to ask for further details. For example, "Can you tell me more about your job?" or "Can you tell me more about that movie?" It's a great way to show interest in what someone is saying. Another useful phrase is, "I'm afraid." This phrase is often used to show that something is not possible or to give bad news politely. For example, if someone invites you to an event but you can't go, you can say, "I'm afraid I can't make it." Or, if you're giving someone bad news, you can say, "I'm afraid the store is closed." If you want to show that something is difficult, you can say, "It's not easy." For example, "Learning English is not easy," or "This task is not easy." This phrase shows that something requires effort or is challenging. It's a great way to talk about things that might take some time to accomplish. Another common phrase is, "I'm not sure." You can use this when you are uncertain about something. For example, "I'm not sure if I'll be able to come tomorrow," or "I'm not sure what time the meeting starts." It's an easy and polite way to express doubt or uncertainty. If you want to say that you are busy, you can say, "I'm busy right now." For example, if someone asks you to do something and you don't have time, you can say, "Sorry, I'm busy right now." This lets the other person know that you can't help at the moment. Another way to talk about being busy is to say, "I have a lot on my plate." This means that you have many things to do. For example, "I have a lot on my plate this week," means that you have a busy week ahead. If you want to say that you will do something in the future, you can use the phrase, "I will." For example, "I will call you later," or "I will send you an email." This is a simple way to let someone know what you plan to do. It shows that you have a plan or intention. Another way to talk about the future is by saying, "I'm going to," for example, "I'm going to visit my family next weekend," or "I'm going to study tonight." This shows your plans or intentions for the near future. It's another way to express something you are about to do. Let's talk about offering suggestions. One common way to suggest something is by saying, "How about," for example, "How about we go to the movies?" or "How about trying this new restaurant?" It's a friendly and casual way to suggest an idea. Another way to suggest something is by saying, "Why don't we," for example, "Why don't we go for a walk?" or "Why don't we meet up later?" This is a way to propose an idea and encourage the other person to join you. If you want to talk about how often something happens, you can use the phrase once in a while. This means that something happens sometimes, but not very often. For example, I go to the gym once in a while means you don't go all the time, but occasionally. If you do something regularly, you can say, I do it all the time. For example, I eat pizza all the time means you often eat pizza. This phrase shows that something happens frequently. Let's talk about talking about plans with friends. If you want to ask a friend what they're doing, you can say, "What are you up to?" This is a casual and friendly way to ask what someone is doing. For example, "What are you up to this weekend?" Or, "What are you up to later?" It's an easy way to start a conversation. If someone asks you what you're doing, you can say, "I'm just relaxing," or "I'm working." These simple responses are easy to use when someone asks what you are doing at the moment. Finally, let's talk about showing appreciation. When you want to thank someone for something, you can say, "I really appreciate it." For example, if someone helps you, you can say, "I really appreciate your help." It's a polite and warm way to express gratitude. Another way to express thanks is by saying, "Thanks a lot." This is a more casual way of showing gratitude. For example, "Thanks a lot for your support," or "Thanks a lot for the gift." If you want to express that something is easy to do, you can say, "It's no problem." For example, "It's no problem. I can help you with that," or "It's no problem. I'll take care of it." This shows that you're happy to help and that it's not difficult for you. If you want to offer help, you can say, "Let me know if you need anything." For example, "Let me know if you need anything while you're here." Or "Let me know if you need anything at all." This is a friendly way to offer assistance and let the other person know you're available to help. If you're not sure about something, you can say, "I'm not certain." For example, "I'm not certain if I can make it to the event," or "I'm not certain about the time." This shows that you're unsure about something but don't want to give a final answer yet. Another phrase for uncertainty is "I'm not sure yet." For example, "I'm not sure yet if I want to go to the Dort party," or "I'm not sure yet when I'll be free." This phrase lets people know that you need more time to think about something before making a decision. When you're talking about your preferences, you can use the phrase "I prefer." For example, "I prefer tea over coffee," or "I prefer staying at home on weekends." This is a simple way to tell someone what you like or enjoy doing. If you want to ask about someone's preferences, you can say, "Do you prefer," for example, "do you prefer coffee or tea? Or do you prefer going to the beach or the mountains?" This is a polite way to ask someone what they like or enjoy doing. If you want to offer your opinion, you can say, "I think," for example, "I think this restaurant is great," or "I think we should leave now." This is an easy way to express what you believe or think about something. If you're unsure about your opinion, you can say, "I think so," or "I don't think so." For example, "I think so, but I'm not sure," or "I don't think so, I haven't decided yet." These phrases let others know that you are unsure, but have a general idea of what you think. Another useful phrase is, "It's not a big deal." This is used when you want to say that something is not important or doesn't matter much. For example, if someone apologizes for being late, you can say, "It's not a big deal, don't worry about it." It's a way of showing that you're not upset. If you want to say that something is very important, you can say, "It's a big deal." For example, "This project is a big deal to me," or "Getting this promotion is a big deal." This shows that something is significant and matters to you. Let's move on to phrases for showing understanding. If someone tells you something and you want to show that you understand, you can say, "I see." For example, "Oh, I see what you mean," or "I see what happened." This phrase is a simple way to show that you understand what the other person is saying. Another way to show understanding is by saying, I get it. For example, I get it. You're saying we should leave now, or I get it. The meeting is postponed. This is a casual way to show that you have understood the message. If someone says something surprising, you can use the phrase really. For example, really? I didn't know that. Or really? That's amazing. This shows that you are surprised or impressed by what the other person has said. When you want to express doubt, you can say, are you sure? For example, are you sure this is the right way? Or are you sure you want to go to that place? This is a way to ask if someone is confident about something or if they have considered all the facts. If you want to express excitement about something, you can say, I'm so excited. For example, I'm so excited for the weekend, or I'm so excited about the concert. This shows that you are really looking forward to something and feel happy about it. Another way to express excitement is by saying, I can't wait. For example, I can't wait to see the new movie, or I can't wait for our trip. This is a way to show that you are eagerly anticipating something. That's it for this section. Keep practicing these phrases, and soon you'll be able to use them in your daily conversations. Thank you for listening to the Chief and Gerarder Seat English podcast. I'm Connor, and I'll see you in the next section.